could you give me your name, your age, and your place of birth, please?
I'm Mary Kolar. I was born in Wilton, Wisconsin. I'm 60 years old.
Perfect. Can you get, let's go job history. Tell me a little bit about what you did before you were at the DVA.
For 28 years, I served on active duty in the United States Navy. When I retired in 2008, my husband and I moved to Madison. My goal at the time was to be able to walk to work. I walked to the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art, where I worked for 7 years as the Director of Public Operations. While I was there, I was responsible for the security of the museum, and the people who I were typically hiring were students, whether they were undergrad or graduate students. Plus, I also would hire I was able to hire 6 formerly homeless veterans.
What made you get involved with government then?
To just continue to serve. I really enjoyed working at MOCA. I enjoyed 5.5 years serving as the president of the Metropolitan Place Condominium Association. That was very interesting with our involvement in downtown Madison. And then when the opportunity arose, when my predecessor on the board, Scott McDonald, he had represented downtown Madison previously. He was elected clerk. I ran in a special election and was elected in 2013.
Very cool. Now, tell me, where did you go to college? Do you have any post-grad or anything like that as well?
Yes. My first year of undergrad, I attended UW Stout. I transferred to UW La Crosse. I graduated from UW La Crosse as a marketing major. I had a BS degree in marketing. While I was on active duty, I was able to get a master's degree in adult education from the University of Rhode Island. I was also able to go to the Naval War College, and I received a degree in national security and strategic studies.
But before that, you were pretty Wisconsin through and through, huh?
Yep. Grew up in Wilton, Wisconsin. That's just it. The recruiting slogan at the time or previously had been join the Navy and see the world. Mm-hmm. And it was also, I think right at the time I was coming in, it's not just a job, it's an adventure. So yes, I absolutely love Wisconsin, but I was at the time, 21 years old, definitely ready for the adventure.
I want to see the whole world.
That's right. So just going to finish that with, I joined the Navy to see the world, and I saw the East Coast. Even anytime I had actual orders in writing to go, twice it happened. I was going to go to Portland, and another time I was going to go to Oakland, California. Both times I got changed, and I ended up in Pittsburgh and Macon, Georgia. So I have seen the East Coast. I have traveled to Europe, but usually it's been on my dime, not the military's.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family?
Yes. Again, grew up in Wilton, Wisconsin. At the family history is that my grandfather served in World War I. My father served in World War II. My brothers, 4 brothers, the 2 oldest served in the Navy, 1 served in the Air Force, and 1 served in the Marine Corps. So that military influence. But my father was killed in a car accident that my entire family was in when I was 2 years old. So the person who I saw leading the family was my mother. So that influence of the military is there, but certainly as well that commitment to your family. But, even though culturally, definitely when I was a small child, and sometimes you still hear it, well, a woman's not supposed to do that. Well, you do it when you have to do it because you're going to make sure your family's taken care
of. Favorite non-work interests?
I love to cook. I think that's how I can use whatever creativity I have. That it's just so wonderful to be able to take, particularly here in Dane County, local products and just create a beautiful meal, a very enjoyable meal. At the same time, I do like to stay fit, so I enjoy the fact that we can get out and enjoy so much in Dane County. And for us particularly, we have a lab shepherd mix, so at least twice a day we're getting a really good walk.
So let's get into more your position here. So why the interest in being in the Evers administration?
Well, for me, definitely it was seeing, my husband Scott and I reached out to Tony Evers before he even officially announced and said, hey, if you're running, we're with you. So that was just for Governor Evers being who he is. And as the campaign progressed, and it's like, wow, So I reached out to members of his team and said, if you need help finding someone for WDVA, I definitely want to help you. And that was the first time was, what about you? And I'm like, what? Sort of thing. And then I was actually recommended another person. The following conversations I had with any number of people where I'd say, hey, what do you think about this person for WVA? And they would say, well, what about you? And then after the election, when I got a phone call about, now in hindsight, I know that was a what about you kind of conversation. I said, hey, but you should really, so, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I hit myself over the head. What if that person doesn't apply? You better get your application in. So once I made that commitment to get my application in, I rallied everybody I knew to reach out to the transition team to say, hey, will you speak on my behalf because I really want this. And then to get that feedback of, wow, you would be perfect for it. I'm just saying, quoting people of what I was told. So I am so honored to be chosen to represent or be a part of the Evers administration and be the state's top advocate for veterans.
So you said you had reached out to the governor like right before you even announced it.
Yes. And not to be WDVA, but for him to be governor.
Sure.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about your previous relationship with the governor?
I live in downtown Madison in the same building that Governor Evers used to live in until he moved out on the 17th. So we had crossed paths. I certainly supported his previous campaigns for DPI. And it's knowing the type of person that he is. Again, not knowing him in a close relationship, but his leadership of DPI, how he's been as a campaigner, the respect he shows to every human being, and then that's continued with who he has chosen to be on his cabinet. I'm very honored to be a part of that. When I walk into cabinet meetings and see people who are so motivated to serve their state in their niche of their department, I'm very honored to be a part of this cabinet.
What are the priorities for your agency, for the agency under your direction?
The number one is that we always focus on the veterans that we serve. What I said at the announcement of my appointment, and I have reiterated since I'm officially in the position, that before any WDVA employee takes any action, they need to ask themselves, how will this positively impact veterans and their families? That has to be our top consideration. How are we serving veterans? So when you start getting into the details of what WDVA does, we have a multitude of benefits and services that we provide, activities that we pursue to, again, help veterans. But we also have 3 veterans' homes. I have to ensure their fiscal solvency as they provide the best health care possible for the members who live at those homes.
I see. What should the agency be doing differently?
Again, focusing on veterans. I want to just focus on the future, but I am aware of some of personality issues that got in the way of perhaps some of previous administrations. I just want us to focus on working together. If we concentrate, I truly believe, we concentrate on serving veterans and remember that's what our mission is. It's put the personality challenges behind us and let's work together at serving veterans.
Best advice you've got since you received the job?
What was that? It really is being a part of reaching out to everybody, and just seeing that is the culture that has been created by Governor Evers and Lieutenant Governor Barnes, that it is the collaboration, it's bipartisanship, nonpartisanship, working with everyone.
Worst advice you've gotten?
And for me, even if someone said something that I would put in a category of worst advice, I want to look at, why did they say that? What can I learn from that? What part of that can be implemented that is beneficial and wouldn't be categorized as worse?
That's a very good answer. Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it. I thank you for your time.